4bc. We're talking real estate with Kevin Turner.
Indeed. And I mentioned before the break that I'd be talking to an exceptional agent, and his name is Adam Nobel. He is an exceptional agent. He works at Space in Brisbane. He has his own business, a business within a business with his own team. He has an almost unheard of sales success rate of over 95%, having an average of just 14 days on market. That takes 14 days to turn a property over. Quite incredible. 70% of those properties sold have actually achieved the highest price in either that building or in that suburb. He joins us. G'day, Adam. How are you doing?
Yeah, really well, thanks, Kevin. Thanks
Good,
for the
mate.
introduction.
Yeah, it's a
Great
pleasure.
to be here.
Yeah, pleasure to be talking to you, and especially with such a. I've been following your career for quite a long time. What is it you do that other agents don't do to get those kind of results?
Look, I think before I entered the property industry, I was lucky enough to get an education. I did a Master of Business majoring in advertising and took a lot of electives in sort of consumer behaviour and consumer psychology. I then worked in the advertising industry for quite a number of years and pitched for and won the business from large multinationals to small and medium-sized enterprises. When I started in real estate, I basically applied this specialised advertising skills to my role as a property advisor. For nearly a decade now, we have had those results because quite simply what we did in advertising land works. So I've just applied it to real estate. And a lot of things that we do, we get a lot of cut-through, we do a lot of guerrilla marketing, so it's low cost, but has really, really great exposure, and it just sort of speaks to the target market in ways that a lot of the typical advertising doesn't.
So what's the mix there between your advertising skills and your negotiating skills? I mean, it raises the question as to whether at some stage down the track there could be specialist advertising agencies helping people with this kind of guerrilla marketing if they wanted to sell their property on their own.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think negotiating skills, the advertising is important, but I think the agent's values as well as their negotiating skills is probably the most important thing because I think the standard of advertising has really improved over the years. Most people are doing professional photos, floor plans, outsourcing, a copywriter and so on. But I think the negotiating skills of once the people are there is extremely important. It's probably the most important thing that separates the really great agents from the average agents. And I think it comes down to your sort of your values. If you're a hard worker, if you're going to put your clients ahead of your own interests and really do that, that'll come through when you're negotiating.
Yes.
For example, just last week, 3 weeks ago, we listed the property, and the owners would have been delighted with $700,000. They told me from day dot what they wanted. They told me in the listing appointment. In the first week, I had 3 offers of 700 and one of 720, and they wanted to take the offer of 720. I felt there was more money, and I actually felt we could probably get around 750, just intuitively speaking. Anyway, we after this, so we did that week. The second week, they agreed to let me keep running with it. The second week, we had an offer of another one of 720, another of 700. I got someone up from the first week to 750. Over the space of 3 weeks, they were ecstatic. The wife started crying. She wanted to take the offer of 750. I felt there was more money there. So there was sort of a further 8 hours of negotiation. Basically at 9:30 on Saturday night, I managed to get one guy up from 750 to 760, another to 780, and another person in the low 800s, and we did the deal. So I think negotiation is very important.
Yeah, the type of agent you use, I guess it dispels what Terry Ryder said during the week. He's quoted as saying that you won't get any more money when you sell if you use an agent. I guess those kinds of stories, while there's not a lot of them, to be quite honest, Adam, they are great stories, and it just shows you what's possible. We've had a call from Kate as well, wanting to know what guerrilla marketing is. Can you just spend a minute and just tell us what that is?
Yeah, sure. So basically, if you've got a client who comes to you and they've got a budget of sort of $2,500, and you're up against properties, there's courier mail campaigns, typical spend sort of anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000. We do what's called guerrilla marketing, so it's basically a very low cost marketing campaign. So there's things that you can do. For example, we will get on the phone, we'll call people around a property and let them know that a property's coming to the market. We've got a database of hundreds of buyers that are looking for the exact same type of property. We can do a bulk email to every person that's come through a similar property. For example, if it's a River and City View unit in Southbank, I've got literally 500 current buyers on my books. that, in 1 minute I can send an email to all of them and invite them along, and it costs, 50 cents basically. So that's the sort of stuff that we can do that has enormous cut through, and that will actually get, 20 to 30 people to the open home that we can then create a competitive environment with. And it was 50 cents instead of $25,000.
Adam, it's interesting, and this is something that I think people can learn from. When I was looking, how I found you quite some time ago was that I actually asked a few agents who I know who they believed would be the best agent in Brisbane if they wanted to sell their home, and your name came up twice. And that's actually how I found you. There's a guy by the name of Shannon Davis, who I think you know, and he reckons that you are the best agent in Brisbane. And I think agent to agent, that's a pretty good endorsement. So just thought I'd share that story. I think some folks can probably hopefully benefit from that. Just very quickly in closing, if you were selling your property, what would you be looking for in an agent?
I'd be looking at, I'd look at their values. I think it's really important whether you're looking for an agent or a partner in life, and values of the agent I think are really important. But I think also their track record. A lot of people can sort of talk, but unless they can actually demonstrate the results, and I mean actually pulling out all the properties and saying what happened, I'd be concerned about that. I think you'd want to pick someone who's got what I'd call sort of hyper-local specialist knowledge. So there's certain streets and buildings where I've sold, 8 of the last 9, 9 of the last 10, 5 of the last 6. And the fact of the matter is that unless you sort of know how every room in every one of those properties differs, you're not in a position to really be able to ask for an extra $100,000 to $200,000 in a tight negotiation, because when you know how they differ in value, the buyer will then be able to, if you can prove it to a buyer why they should pay more, then that buyer will justify in his own mind why he should pay more. And not only that, but if they miss out, but that they will miss out if they don't offer the right kind of money, and then obviously that's not a good situation for them. So I think having that sort of product knowledge, when you've got that, then you're not leaving any money on the table.
Yep, great answer, mate. We are out of time, unfortunately, Adam, but I want to thank you so much for spending what is a particularly busy day for you. Saturdays, of course, you've got heaps of opens on. I know we tried to get you into the show last week and just couldn't do it. So anyway, but thanks for your time, mate.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for your kind words as well. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Good on you. Adam Nobel, and he is with Space in Brisbane. Just Google him. You'll find him, Adam, and it's spelled Nobel. He is the man. On Thursday, we